Something massive is happening right now in one of the biggest digital markets on the planet. A new player has just stepped onto the field, and their first move could literally change the future of AI for over 1 billion people. So, the big question is this a story about bringing amazing new tech to everyone? Or is it about one company getting ready to build an unshakable monopoly? That's what we're going to unpack right now.
Okay, so to really get what's going on here, we first need to understand the landscape. The AI industry, it's not just one thing. It's actually a stack, a set of layers, and believe me, power is concentrated at every single level.
The easiest way to picture it is like a pyramid, right? Each layer rests on the one below it. You start with the actual physical chips that do all the heavy lifting, and you build all the way up to the apps we use on our phones every day. The key thing to remember, if you control the bottom of that pyramid, you have a massive say in everything that gets built on top.
So, let's break it down. There are basically 4 main layers. At the very foundation, you've got the hardware. We're talking about those super specialized chips, the GPUs. Then, one level up is cloud compute. Think of giant server farms that rent out all that processing power. Above that, you have the AI models, the brains of the operation. And finally, sitting right at the top are the applications we all know and use.
And here's the thing, and this is really important. Those bottom layers, the foundation of that whole pyramid, they are pretty much controlled by a tiny handful of global tech giants. And what that does is create this huge barrier to entry for anyone else who wants to get in the game.
I mean, just to put a number on it, 88%. That's NVIDIA's market share for the essential AI chips in just the first quarter of 2024. It's basically a monopoly on the one thing everybody needs. So, okay, that's the global picture. Now let's zoom in on India.
All right, so before this new giant showed up, India's AI scene was, well, it was buzzing. It was vibrant. You had startups popping up everywhere, tons of fresh ideas, and a whole lot of investment money pouring in.
And I mean, the growth was just explosive. We're talking about investment in Indian Gen AI startups jumping from around $250 million in 2019 to over $830 million by 2022. That's basically growing by almost 50% every single year. You just can't deny that energy.
But where was all that cash actually going? Well, mostly it was going to that very top layer of the stack, the applications. Almost 44% of all the funding went straight into enterprise apps. So yeah, the scene was hopping. But it was still totally dependent on those big global players for the heavy lifting stuff at the bottom. And that is when the ground started to shake.
And then, enter the giant. Billionaire Mukesh Ambani and his massive company, Reliance Industries, made their move. And let me tell you, this wasn't just another announcement. It was an absolute earthquake for the entire industry.
And the ambition here is just staggering. If you remember what they did with their telecom company, Jio, they're using the exact same playbook. The promise is AI for every single Indian. The scale of that, it's almost hard to wrap your head around.
So, what's the vehicle for this massive plan? It's a new company they're calling Reliance Intelligence. And in classic Reliance fashion, they didn't just announce the company. Oh no. They announced an entire ecosystem of products all at once, right from day one.
I mean, just look at this lineup. You've got AI features that work on any simple phone call, 100 gigs of free cloud storage with smart search, smart glasses with live translation, a service that turns any old screen into a cloud computer, and of course, their very own AI model for Indian languages, Bharat GPT. They're not just dipping a toe in the water, they're going after every single part of a person's digital life.
So, you're probably wondering, how on earth are they pulling this off? Well, it's simple. They're partnering with the very giants who control that tech stack. They've got a joint venture with Meta to use their Llama models, they've got a deal with NVIDIA to get those must-have GPUs, and they're partnering with Google to build out a massive AI cloud. See the strategy? They're not trying to build the foundation from scratch, they're just buying their way in at the top level.
But honestly, the products and the partnerships, that's not even the most brilliant part. The real masterstroke here is how they're connecting all the different pieces. What we're watching is the construction of a fully integrated AI empire, from the ground all the way up.
And it all starts with power. 3 gigawatts. That's the planned capacity for their new AI data center. To give you some perspective, that's enough juice to power a small city. And here's the kicker. It's all going to be powered by their own green energy company.
You see how this creates this incredible flywheel, right? Reliance makes its own power, to run its own data centers, which host their own cloud and AI models, which then get delivered through their own massive telecom network to nearly 500 million of their own customers. It's a totally closed, self-sufficient loop. It's brilliant.
And in case you're thinking, can they even handle that kind of scale? Well, their existing AI chatbot company, Haptic, has already handled over 34 million conversations. They've already got the playbook for deploying AI to a massive, massive audience.
So, okay. All this brings us right back to where we started. With this much power, this much integration, all in one place, what does it actually mean for India's tech future?
Is this the move that's going to supercharge India's AI scene and put it on the global map? Or are we just watching the construction of a private toll road that everyone will have to pay to use for the country's entire digital future?
You know, you can make a really strong case for both sides. On one hand, the promise is huge. A powerful Indian company that can actually compete with the global tech giants, democratize AI for hundreds of millions, and build sovereign AI capability. But the risk is just as big. They could use their massive telecom network to lock everyone into their system, and in the process, maybe crush all that amazing startup innovation that was just starting to take off.
Which leaves us with one final massive question. Is Reliance's big AI power play going to be the rising tide that lifts all the boats in the Indian tech scene? Or are they just building one single, colossal ship that's so big it leaves everyone else struggling in its wake? The answer to that is going to define India's digital future for a long, long time.